What up, YouTube? It's Knowledge of Self-Determination. So I ran across a story on Facebook a little while ago, and I actually been meaning to make a video about this. This is about a man serving 2 life sentences. A man named Ricky Kidd, spelled with 2 D's, is serving 2 consecutive life sentences for a homicide. This case is very, very interesting, and yeah. I'm gonna let you guys just listen to this, and you be the judge.
Convicted killer behind bars, but he claims he's completely innocent, and he's not alone.
He didn't do it, and I know he didn't do it.
I have zero doubt about his innocence. He is innocent.
The police commissioner and former prosecutor also think Ricky Kidd was wrongly convicted.
Only right here on 41 Action News, Patrick Fazio dug into the evidence to find out why he's locked up.
He didn't do it, and I know he didn't do it.
Neighbors heard several gunshots fired. They're looking for 1 or more suspects.
After looking into a 1996 double murder case, Kansas City Police Commissioner Alvin Brooks realized they locked up the wrong guy.
It was not Ricky Kidd. It was another person, but they did look a little alike.
With the police commissioner speaking up for him, Ricky Kidd thought that would help free him.
I really give him a lot of credit for having the willpower to be able to say, hey, this ain't right.
But he's still in prison for those murders.
Very frustrating.
Serving 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Why is it difficult for the state to correct injustice?
Kidd says he can prove he's innocent.
This is in black and white.
He says documents show there's no physical evidence against him.
This is the state witness recantation.
The eyewitness changed his story.
These are glaring facts.
Plus an alibi that Kidd says his public defender failed to investigate.
This is how messed up my trial was.
Kidd applied for a gun permit at the sheriff's department the day of the murders.
You would think that would be a tight enough alibi to be at a sheriff's department at the time of the murders.
Kidd's then girlfriend, Monica Gray, says they were together at the sheriff's department when the murders happened.
And we had just found out we were pregnant. We had our lives planned out.
Instead, Gray had to raise their daughter on her own.
Today's my daughter's birthday, and I'm not able to be there. They took that from me.
Her dad should have been here through these special moments.
You just keep hoping that somebody somewhere along the chain of authority will do the right thing.
I was very skeptical.
Former prosecutor Cindy Dodge changed her mind after reinvestigating the murders.
I have zero doubt about his innocence. He is innocent.
She told...
Now, I just wanted to stop it there because I wanted to add something. Now, I'll put links in the description box. You guys can look up the rest of the story on your own. In fact, I'll play it after this, but just take this into account. The attorney who once prosecuted him is saying that he's innocent, right? The police commissioner is saying that he's innocent, and yet we can't get the governor, the mayor, anybody in politics or government to speak up and give this man a pardon. The governor of the state can't give this man a pardon. I'm not even going to bring Donald Trump into this because, come on, we already know Donald Trump isn't giving any black person a pardon from any prison. And we already know that. But this is the level of injustice. The current prosecutor won't even acknowledge this. They won't even acknowledge this. Just, it's sad, man. It's real sad.
Her former colleagues in the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office so they could tell a judge to free Kidd.
They have thrown up barriers wherever they can and objected to everything.
Dodge is representing Kidd for free because she says current prosecutor Jean Peters Baker opposes his release.
As a former prosecutor and colleague of the current prosecutor, I do not understand it. You have to ask Jean, I don't know.
We did ask Jean Peters Baker for an interview, but her office declined, saying Missouri Attorney General Chris Koster is currently handling the case. So we asked Koster for an interview, but his office also refused. Instead, they pointed us to their court filing, which basically says it's too late. It claims Kidd missed his chance to properly appeal and also argues he can only present new evidence discovered after his trial.
They're not even arguing that I'm not innocent.
Kidd's attorney says the evidence not only exonerates Kidd, it also shows who really committed the murders.
Now, with that being said, now there are 3 guys who have actually been implicated in this actual murder that Kidd was framed for, or rather arrested for and convicted for. 3 guys. One guy is in prison. One guy's dead, and the other guy is still out on the streets. The guy that's in prison exonerates Ricky Kidd and names his 2 accomplices. And they actually know who these guys are. The guy that's free, they have a photo of the guy, right? The guy that's in prison, they actually show him in this particular news story in his prison guard, right? They know who these guys are. Now, mind you, think about this for a second. Our judicial system is dedicated to truth and justice, right? There is a man out here who was involved in and possibly the trigger man in a murder homicide case. And the people who are out here who are paid to protect, quote unquote, us, the civilian population of America, have no interest in arresting and finding this man who is an accomplice to a murder. They're satisfied. The status quo is satisfied because someone is paying the price for this. They're not worried about who actually did the crime. They're worried about somebody paying for the crime, paying the debt to society for the crime. How is that more important than actual justice? That's the question that I want to ask. How is just somebody filling in the seat for a crime actual justice when you really get down to the definition of what justice is supposed to be? These are the people out here who are out here supposedly to protect us all, but yet they're willing to let someone who's committed a murder walk free because someone else is taking his place in prison. Can a black man ever really get a fair trial in this country and be treated fairly in this country, even after having proof that he should be exonerated and his record completely wiped clean? I'll put links in the description box to the story. I thought it was interesting. Knowledge and self-determination. Like, learn, and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.
Has to be that we talk about and we deal with these issues before the 6 o'clock news.
To reduce crime and violence, community activist Alvin Brooks says we must be proactive, not reactive.
You can't arrest yourself and jail yourself out of this.
As a former cop and police commissioner in Kansas City, Brooks says law enforcement can only do so much.
People think, well, more police officers, more of this, more of that. I think we have to change the culture, and particularly as it relates to urban American.
Brooks helped start the ad hoc group against crime in 1977 to try to change the culture.
We revolutionized that whole thing of vigils, prayer vigils, as well as marches on crack houses.
He's even talked to U.S. presidents about fighting crime. George H.W. Bush saw his work firsthand in Kansas City and appointed Brooks to the National Drug Advisory Council.
There's a correlation between poverty and crime and violence. And we have not learned yet that the way you reduce poverty is through education.
Brooks says improving education everywhere takes a long-term commitment from everyone.
I've heard people say, I'm glad I don't live over there. Well, violence, poverty, it's like a cancer. You know, if you let it continue, it's going to spread.
That's why he joined KCPD after white adults and police abused him because of his race as he grew up on Kansas City's east side.
It was a traumatic experience in my life, and I don't want to forget it, and I want to share it.
So he's writing his memoir detailing racism he's experienced in his life.
The playing field is still not level, that you still have to be of honesty and integrity and do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.